Welcome to Meet the Artist. This program is brought to you by Hedberg Public Library and JATV Media Services. I'm your host, Teresa Nguyen. Meet the Artist features various local artists whose work will be on display in monthly exhibits at Hedberg Public Library. In the studio today, we have the very talented Bo Maveety, our featured artist for the month of September. Welcome to the studio, Bo.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Tess. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's all right. Either one. When you were younger, who was your encourager? Someone who may have noticed your artwork? Did you start at a young age?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, my mother was a painter.
Okay.
And so while she'd be up there painting, I'd be sitting on the floor drawing bad versions of Superman. And so I got started with the whole superhero thing. But
Nice.
yeah, she was an encourager, a big-time encourager for my art.
Wonderful. And was there a particular sketch or something you created that just was really special and stood out to you?
Yeah, actually, it was kind of a high point or the starting point, I guess. Everybody knew, I was always the artist in the school and stuff. But about 7th grade, we had paid a visit to my grandparents, and my grandfather was famous for sitting there and reading his paper for about an hour or so. And so I just drew his profile. And when I got finished with it, I was kind of shocked because it had his likeness. And that's what really gave me a lot of impetus to spring forward and stay on the track.
Wow, you are so talented. And for that to just start at that young age too is amazing. And then from there, did you end up taking classes or doing something with art school?
My mother tried to get me involved in a class. I was raised in the Dallas area, and she tried to get me involved with a class, and I really wasn't that excited about it. And not until I had a couple of art classes in high school, and as far as more of a structured course.
Sure.
And I kind of expanded my talents there a little bit, and then of course when I went into college, I went for a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree.
Excellent. Wow, but they were glad to have you there. And have you been inspired by anyone in the art world, either someone you know, your professor, I don't know, or a famous artist?
Well, early on, I was very inspired by Charles Schulz. I loved comics,
Yeah.
and so Charles Schulz with Peanuts, and so let's see, there was Charles Schulz, and then as I got older, the classical painter Vermeer was one of my all-time favorites. So I was a big fan of realism.
Oh, nice.
Which is basically kind of what I'm into now as far as my graphite work.
I see that, yeah. And so speaking of that, you have graphite. What are some of your favorite mediums? What do you work with?
Well, basically total graphite, and then some pen and ink, and then colored pencil. I'll do a little bit of charcoal, but basically graphite. Okay.
And as far as other types of art, anything else in the art world, music, theater, expanding?
Well, as a matter of fact, I was in a little kind of a acoustic gospel band a few years ago, and played a little mandolin.
Nice.
And djembe,
okay,
drum.
Yep, I know what a djembe is.
And so I've enjoyed that a lot, and love singing harmonies.
Excellent. So you have creativity just flowing out of you.
Yeah, and then speaking of, being a big fan of Charles Schulz, I had the privilege of doing several productions of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and I played the part of Snoopy.
Oh, fantastic. My favorite Schulz character, I think. Who doesn't love Snoopy?
Exactly.
Really? So you brought in some pieces today, and I love all of them. So let's start with this little baby. Can you tell me about it and how you were inspired? And just, I want to point out that I love the green It just pops against all of the black and white, gray and white.
And that's kind of a theme I like to run with. It's like maybe just putting one little color in my art. And this one was actually, he's kind of a distant relative and Down syndrome baby. And when I saw this, as soon as I saw this picture, I wanted to draw it. You know, I love to see that he's, you know, playing with the flower and stuff.
Yes.
And also the you know, they always talk about smooth as a baby's bottom. Well, the child's at that age, their skin is so marble smooth, and that was a really, really great challenge as far as doing that. And that's really why that's probably one of my favorites that I've done.
You really captured that, and just the, you know, how he's just plump and so baby-like.
And innocent and focused.
Right. And how wonderful that you honored a child with Down syndrome too, like this in art.
And I'm going to title it Leland, but underneath it I'm going to title it, or subtitle it, Beautiful, Beautiful, Beautiful Boy, to borrow from John Lennon.
Yes. Love that. I love that. And over here you have something that any cat owner loves to do.
Yeah,
Snuggle.
And as you can tell, you know, the cat probably is bored with the whole situation.
Like
enough. But yeah. But and that was a real delight for me, because that was the first time I'd ever gotten to draw a cat, and also I know that person, and so as I was drawing it, I started on the left and moved to the right, so to keep from smudging it as bad.
Sure.
So I could not wait to get to start it on the cat, and that's the cat's name is Waffles, by the way.
Oh, Waffles.
But yeah, I just finished that just a few weeks ago. So.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you. I just really, really, really enjoyed doing that one.
It's so inviting and just so relatable if you are a cat lover.
Right, exactly.
Right. I used to have cats. That could have been me.
Actually, I'm a big cat lover myself, so that was
Awesome.
part of the deal.
Love it. Okay, and your dog.
Yeah.
Gosh, we have something for everyone with all the pets. I'll bet you could just pretty much draw any pet. That's gorgeous.
And you know what? It's interesting working. This is a black scratch board.
Okay.
And you know, of course, that's pretty challenging. But our dog, she's black and white, so it really lends herself to that medium. And but I actually had to cheat, you might say. I had to use some white charcoal in order to do these softer whites in there.
I wouldn't say it's cheating. I'd say it's creative.
Thank you. Actually, I did the first scratch board I ever did was in high school, and I did Mount Rushmore, which also lends itself because of, you know, the stark whites and blacks.
Wow.
So I really do like working in that medium too.
And your dog's name?
Bella.
Bella.
Yeah, she's a sweetie.
Bella's beautiful, and you captured her expression in her eyes. I mean, I don't know your dog, but I want to know your dog.
Well, you know, it's so cool because one day I looked down and she was just sitting there so sweetly staring at me. So thankfully, for once, she didn't move before I could get the picture made.
Yes, that's the trick, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, Bo, if there are artists out there who would love to try to start sketching, young people, anyone, what advice would you give, and how to just even start that process?
You know, it's interesting. You know, a lot of part of the physical part of drawing, really, pretty much anybody can do. But I think what really brings depth to a work is your imagination and your visualization. And I'm a big visualizer. So a lot of times I'll visualize something, what it's supposed to look like before it's finished. And I've read a little bit about, I think it was Da Vinci. He had that issue too, because sometimes in my life I've visualized something and I've already seen in my mind what it's to look like, and it's almost like I've already done it. So then I've kind of lost some of my impetus to dive into that project and get it done, because in my mind I've already seen it.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
that may sound kind of weird, but
No, and I'm not sure everyone could do that, but I think that's a good idea to try to visualize where you will go with this
Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
And then would you say just try again?
Absolutely. And if and also drawing something that, say, like if it's sports you're into, or whatever your interest is. So like when I was a kid, younger, I really wasn't a football fan, but I was a superhero type, into superhero comics and stuff. So when everybody was in the other room watching the game, I'd be in the kitchen drawing whatever just happened on the TV, and I love drawing the football players in the poses like you see in the comic books. The action type poses.
Would you write little captions like "pow"?
Sometimes, or
kind of
fumble.
remember that. Fumble, touchdown.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us about your past exhibits. Have you done a lot of that?
No, not really. It was interesting though. I very early on, let's see, I was about 6th or 7th grade. My parents were into the little theater group.
Sure.
And there was this play that they were doing called Everybody Loves Opal. It's an old classic play. And I had done, I was so going to the rehearsals all the time, so I knew some of the scenes. So I took it on myself to draw a couple of scenes, and when I showed it to the director, he just thought that was the greatest thing in the world. So they had me draw about, 6 or 8 different scenes, and we put them on,
wow.
dark construction paper, and he even displayed them in the lobby of the play. He was
nice.
He was also a big encourager.
Right? That just validates your art and makes you feel like, wow, maybe I'm an artist. Like kind of an official thing when you have an exhibit.
Right, and the timing was so important because this was like I said, 6th or 7th grade. So I'm just now getting to where I can draw figures, the human figure, in a representative way, and not look really bad. And also I was able to...
Nothing that you've brought in looks bad, so I don't know what you're talking about.
But so anyway, when I would draw one of these scenes, I would also just kind of in the background, I would draw a little mouse hole and a little mouse looking out, just because that was, what a cartoonist does, so I kind of got a kick out of that.
Love that. Little Easter eggs. They call them.
Yeah, exactly.
Surprises in your paintings.
Right.
And was it difficult then to decide what you would bring to Hedberg for this display in September?
Oh no, actually, kind of the story of my inventory, so to speak, during the COVID furlough, the inevitable COVID furlough, most of us went through. That's when I really got started. I did a portrait of George Harrison, who's my favorite Beatle. And
he's mine too.
Oh, is he really?
Yes.
So I started going from there, and I've just been on a roll. And I was counting the other day. I think I've done 14 works since 2020.
Wow.
And for me, that's quite a bit.
That is.
Because I'm not a fast worker.
So you have a lot to share.
Yeah.
And a variety.
And I'm very, very eager to, and I'm very, very
excited.
Privileged and excited, and just totally psyched about this exhibit.
We're very excited too. It's gonna just be amazing. There's, you have apple orchards and you have hay rides, but to explore new art, that's a cool thing to do in September.
Amen.
So thank you, Bo, for coming in today and giving us a sneak peek of your work and getting to know the person and the process behind your work.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for taking this time.
Gorgeous art. So, yeah, we invite the public to come visit the library this month to check out Bo Maveety's display. And if you'd like to learn more about Bo's beautiful artwork, you can find his information displayed on your screen. Thank you all for joining me today. Please check out this program on JATV Media Services, Charter Cable Channel 994. You can also find it on JATV's YouTube channel. Remember, don't wait for another day. Go out and make some wild, whimsical, wonderful art. I'm your host, Teresa Nguyen. I'll see you next time on Meet the Artist.